tonight that there would be a piece of land that would be landlocked, that wouldn't have access to the piece of land, and it adjoins their property.
Mr. President, Tim, I guess my question is, if I can ask you, these two gentlemen to step aside, and I'd like to bring Mr. Navin to the microphone for a quick question. I don't believe we're looking to change anything, Tim. We're just trying to make sure that Mr. Navin's property has access to it, or that he's comfortable with what's going on, because once we hit this, I don't want to have to come back and change the vote or anything. So Dan, can you come up and just verbally say you've met with the developer or with Mr. Miller and tell us if you have any reservations, any concerns, or are you good to go with what they talked about?
I assure you that they're no problem.
That's fine.
That's fine.
They're no problem.
Now, you know, if there was a small paragraph that says what they're going to do tonight, which would equal an amendment to the plan, then I'd be happy with that. If you establish that a certain road is going to link his property or something like that.
Yeah.
Sure. Just want something on the record, certainly.
No, it's just a matter of making sure.
His property's back here, we're talking about this road, getting access back there.
So let's establish that. What's the name of the road that will continue to link his property? I mean, that would be the amendment to the plan. But we need to resolve it.
I guess my feeling is that all we're doing is setting forth a clarification that wasn't necessarily addressed by the Planning Commission. I would classify that as an amendment. If we're modifying, if we're changing a substantive piece to the PUD, that's an amendment. But if this is something that doesn't change the overall substance or nature of the PUD, and it wasn't really addressed by the Planning Commission, I think it's just a clarification. I don't think it's an amendment that requires 6 votes.
Have you seen the,
Well,
let him show you. Okay, those are mine. Yeah.
It's a technicality.
It is a technicality, but I don't want to
Right,
like
provides
the rear end
access to
later.
the property. Without it, there's no access to the property.
Yeah.
So you're just going to extend the road. This is the Robert's one right here. I mean, it's an amendment. To my mind, I think it's probably we're going to change the actual language. So that obviously knows what is actually. Yeah, I guess my opinion would be that it would be an amendment to this case. So, I mean, because we're extending the road to that buffer zone, it's changing the site plan, changing the map. As minor as it is.
What if there's just an easement?
Well, is that is it just an easement or you extend the road?
Oh, whatever anybody wants, we can.
If there's an existing easement there, and they're not going to extend the road, then that's going to change the.
The easement exists today.
Right. So we're not on all this, not sure exactly that's the location of that easement, but there's an existing easement, we may have to communicate that location.
Yeah. Is the easement with Mr. Miller?
Who's the easement?
Who's the easement with? Is it property? I'm sorry.
The current easement is to his property, correct?
Current easement is to the Hanhart Estate property, and it is not directly to his property. His property is essentially landlocked in that corner between Route 4 and the Borrow Pit, and we were just talking, basically his only access is and has been since they built the bypass, is the walking. He's candidly never had a drivable access other than he just walks over.
So he doesn't, so maybe I'm wrong then, he does not currently have an easement to his property.
Correct.
You just gave him permission to go there.
Right.
Okay. So, but the easement we're talking about is to the property to the east.
Yes.
Okay. I was wrong. I apologize.
I mean, you're still, what you just told me, that still exists, but you're still extending that out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Somehow giving access.
Yeah.
So
It would be
technically, it's
an
an
amendment, so it would be 6 out of 7.
Right.
To approve.
Well, it just requires, it's an amendment to the zoning regulation. The planning commission requires 6 votes, 6 yes votes.
Tim, if I'm hearing you correct, you would like a motion to allow for an extension of the road, which would be an amendment to the planning commission, which would require 6 of us, but that's 2 separate votes, correct?
That's the way we've done it in the past, and I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah, so the motion would be to amend the recommendation of the planning commission to the extent that you're going to extend that road to the south property. And then that motion would require 6 yes votes. And then the motion to pass the PUD with the amendment would require just 4.
I have one.
Mr. Say, I'd like to hear from Mr. Miller, please.
May I just try to briefly?
So we need two access points.
I don't believe. Yeah. Does that work?
We still need access for the other easement.
I don't know about that.
The one that to get back to the other property.
You already got it. This is that.
Yeah, but we have to provide access to it. To this property back here. If there's a need to in place, if there's some told me this property. It goes out in this property. We don't have access. We don't have access.
That's where it usually goes. So the existing gravel goes back in.
So we get back to the space house.
Just going to address this. This is such a
It's
part of the access into that.
We still have a computer that's telling me that here,
And then we have access to the board down below.
That's how I'll deal with it.
So if that's the case, I'm fine.
Probably the reason why we have the second issue because I think it's just the case to get notice because it's only a message project here. So that's on the act. So definitely. Yeah, and I can notice I can put this on the record. Jerry just approached me and said, well, it's just going to be a private driveway. It's not going to be, it's going to be a private driveway. It's really going to be section 5, the owners south. And it's unwritten. I mean, that's not really an amendment, I think, if that's the case. I mean, I was thinking it's going to be a road and provide further access upon public. It's going to be a private driveway. Maintained. Who will maintain it and will piece there?
Who doesn't new development plan?
This all just came tonight. Frank Miller, 13288.
Thank you.
So, well, Mr. Nave and I have just worked out a deal. I will acquire the property from him. If needed, a short-term easement during construction, but I will be deeding the property to these folks. The easement will go away. It'll become part, I guess, of.
And we're closing on the property before we start construction. We have to close the property in July. We'll get all of our zoning approvals.
If that works. If not, I'll maintain the property. I don't need to go there. If this becomes,
Well, I don't think
it's a little patch. It's been there forever.
Is it a patch now? Is it dry? Is it like a driveway? Is it? It's just.
One that big right there.
That's all that's waiting.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. President,
Yeah. There's leftovers.
as soon as they're done,
The borrow pit over.
Well,
I was going to say, Tim, quick question.
Yes.
In light of what we just heard, since this is going to be one property owner, Mr. Mr. Miller was going to be the property owner, I think this is an example of what we see being done by you as a developer and a property owner and neighbor. I'm ready to say let's put it to a vote unless you feel we need to deal with anything since it's going to be their property and they've agreed to a purchase agreement.
Again, I think the ultimate question is, are we making an amendment, some type of amendment? And I don't think we are, based on what the engineer has told me. It's not going to be a road that's going to be accessible by the public. It's going to be a private driveway. Whether there's an easement or not, I don't think is Liz' concern today. I think the only concern is, are we amending planning commission's recommendation? It's a private driveway that's only accessible by the owner of the property to the south. And it's not accessible to the public. Now, whether they work out an easement between them, that's fine. They probably should, but that's not really a thing before this body today. So, my opinion is private driveway is not an amendment.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, just to put it on the table. I personally, and table's a bad word, but I don't see a table until everybody has documented. Okay. I just put it out there.
Questions before you, then, an explanation is, will 2 weeks make a difference so that we can see the written agreement for purchase agreement?
Give me an extension. Will you give me an extension?
Okay, because I'll be very honest with you, I think it's stopping me from moving this tonight is what Councilman wants to see it in writing. I have all the faith in the world in that gentleman back there, that gentleman there, and we're bringing my respect every day. So I'll gladly move it.
I appreciate the idea of handshakes, but we've been down other roads before.
And I said something earlier, I was going to email to Jeremy a copy of phase 1. I haven't figured out how to do that on my phone.
No problem.
Tomorrow morning.
No problem.
Now, just as a point of order, we've had our public hearing. The council can choose to have the next meeting 2 weeks from now as a public hearing, but I don't think it's required by the ordinance. I mean, if we table it, council just has 45 days from the public hearing to take final action on the legislation. So if in 2 weeks, I guess you don't have to send out notice for another public hearing.
Right. So in 2 weeks, we wouldn't have public comment, we would just have a vote on the
Right, it would just be a
question.
We would just take on the
Council comments and
I'd like to comment on that. Please at least let us see this site report now that they're willing to make it public, and it will
It'll be public record tomorrow morning, so it's delivered to
when it's delivered to us, it's a public
Okay,
document.
so then will we be able to comment on that, because that is new documents, that I was.
With our rules of procedure, so just like any other third reading, she could get consent from the president of the council to speak in third reading.
So that's okay, just keep watching too.
You would just make sure you talk to Becky ahead of time.
Absolutely.
We have you on the schedule.
So just to confirm my understanding, what we need to present to you at the next meeting is that the contract between Frank and the other gentleman. Either that or go set.
That will work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
And thank you for your
Thank you very much,
all of
yes.
you, very much.
So,
I'm table this to 2 weeks from tonight with the allowance for the request that was made at tonight's meeting for public comment potentially on it, and council comments, which will be 2 weeks from yesterday.
so he's moving to a date certain of June the 10th, 2019. Correct, Mr. Taylor?
That is correct.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Groves? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Seymour?
Yes.
Mr. Reams?
Yes.
That is passed.
That was fun. That concludes the legislation portion of this evening. It's an odd numbered month, so the council people get to give their comments first. Mrs. Grove?
Thank you, Mr. President. Normally, the first Tuesday of each month, I conduct a ward meeting and invite, in a less formal setting, people to the Marysville Library to speak from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. This June 4th, I am not going to be there. I would invite to contact the Union County Board of Elections, and you will need a reservation to attend, but this is a workshop discussion of issues and procedures for coming elections in November. And I will certainly be there to listen and learn, and I would request that instead of showing up on the 4th to see me at my board meeting, you contact the Board of Elections and show up at that particular meeting. Thank you so much.
Mr. Taylor?
Very quickly, I want to thank the VFW, I want to thank the Marysville Band, I want to thank the scouts that were present yesterday, the Civil Air Patrol team of kids, the DARE organization, and all those people that participated in yesterday's parade. I know for some of you it's going to be a very small parade, but folks, when we recognize the individuals that served and gave their lives, regardless of which ward it is, even if it's only 2 people, it does make a difference. One of the things I heard last night was, well, it was a very short parade, and then I heard, well, there wasn't very many people along the route, there wasn't. Well, it's up to us to make a difference. After all, it's our parade. They served, they didn't ask us if we wanted them to serve. They served because they cared and they knew the word was freedom. So I would strongly encourage everyone, next year on Memorial Day, on July 4th, yeah, we celebrate, but let's remember, and let's get some more bodies out there, let's get some more floats. It's great that we have parades that have a ton of floats in them, but I felt yesterday that we didn't give those gentlemen, ladies, and families their just due. I'm not scolding anyone. I'm just saying I know we got it in us to do better. And after all, they did their best for us. With that, Mr. Chairman, welcome.
Mr. Brock?
Yeah, quickly, I've had a handful of residents reach out to me about various issues that they've been having, and reaching through administration, through Terry, Mike, Jeremy, and even Justin's staff and finance. I just want to give kudos to you guys. The feedback that I continue to give is that Marysville staff is responsive, professional. While I know that, having worked with the majority of you before, it's always great to hear. So please pass along thank you to your staff. Jeremy and Mike, some of the stuff that you guys are going with some drainage issues. Justin, some of the things that your staff has done, and Anna with helping individuals with online bill pay stuff. It's great to be able to turn residents over to staff and have the confidence that that's going to be taken care of right, quickly, and professionally. So kudos to you and kudos to your teams.
Mr. Seymour?
With regard to Nevin's remarks about yesterday's parade and the little kids sitting on the curbs not getting candy, I mean, there's good cause for it.
Yeah.
But you're looking at them, where's the candy? But that'll come on July 4th, right? And my other remark is I think the cemetery looked great. So everybody responsible for taking charge of the cemetery looked very good.
Mr. Reeves?
We should call it a procession rather than a parade. Because people have a different thought of what a parade is. But I guess a follow-up to that, maybe the same question, maybe a different one, that utility billing question, where the person asks why they get a paper bill when they do the electronic payment. And I know we've discussed that in the past, but is there anything that's changed to where we can start eliminating paper bills for people who sign up for online payment?
Thanks, Councilman. The new system, you can option for email only or print only or both. There's that natural mechanism when you log into your account where you can select which type of print. We sent out an email blast on last Friday about those instructions. So, the nice thing about bills right now is that through Huntington, if we want to put an insert, like a notification insert, it knows when you do that. And we have this email blast service that only costs $100 a year to use. So we're going to continue using that service to kind of educate our customers.
Thank you. Mr. Burby?
Well, to piggyback on what Ms. Scott was talking about how well the city services work. I overwhelmingly didn't get to see it last night, or at least at midnight last night. Lightning struck my house at about 13 minutes before 11. And 2 minutes later, smoke was bellowing through the house, called 911. And if you've ever been afraid of something, you open up the garage door, electricity was still working, and then the minutes start to count. And we know we have about a 7-8 minute response time to get there, and we got there fortunately for me within 6 minutes. Otherwise, my house would not be standing maybe. And the professionalism, we were fortunate to have a police officer first. He happened to be in the neighborhood, and he told us what to do: get the car out of the garage when you can, stay in the car, and you only get to see him from a distance because they don't want to have citizens be in danger. But you have the command for safety services, all safety services, not just medics, not just firefighters, as well as our police force, but all of them collectively taking care of the citizens, and I have to be one of those, and I'm very grateful. I'll miss my house for maybe 4 to 6 months when they have to do the redo, but in the meantime, everybody's well. The one thing that did maybe bring on a little bit of a chuckle, Jay called me about 1:45 midnight, and he said, "Hey, by the way, we did find your cat, and she wasn't doing so well, so we gave her oxygen in the attic." And believe me, CJ is very grateful. she is still...
Hey, not so much.
She is still, actually she's now living with my son. So as we move through all of this trials and tribulation, but the memory will stay with us forever. And both chiefs, again, thank you so much for what you and all of your men are doing for us. I'm a very grateful citizen. Thank you, appreciate it.
I'm also going to just touch on the Memorial Day Parade yesterday, and more importantly, the ceremony at the cemetery. Bo Johnstone really does a phenomenal job for our community, and I'd just really like to publicly thank him for what he does with that and a lot of other things. The cemetery looked very good. I told you that in staff meeting this morning. How we got it all cut with as much rain as we've had, I have no idea. There's a picture on Facebook with a guy on a mower going through a puddle. And I got to mow. And I think that the guys that got that done deserve a lot of credit. So, a follow-up to something we talked about last time about the grass clippings and other things in the street. In talking with Mike a little bit, we do. Our code enforcer will actually put a door knocker on your door if he sees a bunch of grass clippings out in the street, just kind of giving you a gentle reminder that be neighborly and not to do that. I actually had a conversation with a gentleman who lives here in Marysville who is a specialist in motorcycle crashing. And he said that he gets called on these all over the country, and grass clippings is something that has a huge impact on these crashes. So just wanted to say that we are following up on that, and also to follow up on what you've brought forward to us. We've always kind of relied on the fact that the bank requires the Phase 1 audit, and we have never had that in our code. And in going through this process, that's something that, even though the bank is still going to require it, it's not something that we're going to force the developer to give us and have to spend more money to do. They've already got it done. They got to get it done for the bank. So as we go through this codification process of our codes, that's something that really should be evaluated and put in there, and then that way we have it on file and know what's going on. So we did listen to what your concerns are, and even though may not be as much as you want on this piece of property, at least going forward. That's something that we're going to have ahead of time, and because we have it, it is a public document.
Right, well, I think part of the problem is there's not an actual transfer of property.
Yeah.
The owner's retaining it. The other problem is you can skip it if you get the insurance, so you won't.
Well, we'll require it, so that's just, it's something that's going to be in there. So, that's all I got. Mr. Emery?
I think you've done a great job tonight, talking about all the different things, and we thank you for the comments, and we also like to hear if there are things that aren't as good as you'd like to see, so you're doing as well. But with that, I'll just pass tonight.
Move to adjourn.
No, don't do that.
I move to adjourn the executive session to discuss negotiating collective bargaining agreement.
I'll take that one. Roll call, please.
Mr. Taylor? Mrs. Groves?
Yes.
Mr. Roth?
Yes.
Mr. Roush?
Yes.
Mr. Seymour?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Burry?
Yes.
7 yes.
And Matt, this is just an update. We're not going to be making any decisions after the meeting.
So Ryan, you got that too?
Thanks.